meets. Parts of a whole would be like A over B, where B is represented as the whole and A is parts of the whole that we are looking at. So pretend that A over B is equal, and so what we need to know is A is the numerator and B is the denominator. So an easy way to remember this is numerator would be a nerd, and the denominator would be a desk. So nerd on the desk. So now that we know that, we're going to go ahead and start out with our word problem. So this word problem would be an area model. So before we start out with an area model, we need to know a common misconception. So a lot of students think that when you multiply, the number always gets larger. This is not true, especially when you multiply fractions together, because you're splitting the whole into equal parts. Therefore, the answer will be smaller. So now that we know that, let's look at our word problem. Bo had 2/3 of his cake left. His friend John decided to eat 3/4 of the leftover cake. How much cake did John eat? So we have our whole cake right here, and we know that Bo had 2/3 of his cake left. So we need to split the cake because the denominator is 3, so the cake was split into 3 parts. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And it doesn't matter if you split the cake vertically or horizontally. They just need to be equal parts. So now that we have the cake split into 3 equal parts, we see that Bo had 2/3 of his cake left. So we have 2/3 of the cake. So here's 1/3, and here's 2/3. And here's the 3rd, but this part was eaten at some point. So this part is basically disappeared. So all we have left are 2/3 of the cake. Now his friend John decided to eat 3/4 of the leftover cake. So how much cake did John eat? So now we have 3/4, and the cake is split into 4 equal parts. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 equal parts that the cake was split into. And we have 3/4 left over. John decided to eat 3/4 of the cake. So John ate 3/4. So we are seeing that this right here is 3/4 of the whole cake, and John ate 3/4 of the leftover cake. And we know that the leftover cake is just this portion right here because this part is gone. So he ate 3/4 of that, and so the number of slices in that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Out of the 12, because 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, of the 12 pieces, so we have 6 over 12. 12 is equal to the whole cake, and 6 is equal to this part of the cake. And since 6/12 has the common multiple of 6, this fraction can be simplified. So 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1, and 12 divided by 6 is equal to 2, giving us the fraction 1/2. So we know that, and so 1/2 is a unit fraction, and all unit fractions are always in their lowest form. So we know that 6/12 is 6 parts of the 12, which 6/12 is 1/2 of the cake that John ate. So now that we have done our area model, let's move on to our set model. So before we start with the set model, we need to know a misconception of this. So a misconception is objects used have to be equal or the same size. But what is important is the quantity, not the quality. So let's read our problem. Gabby has 8 dolls. She gave her cousin 1/4 of the dolls. How many dolls does her cousin have? So we have 1 doll, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. She gave her cousin 1/4 of the dolls. So we know that the number of dolls is going to be split into 4 equal parts. So we have 8, so let's split the dolls. So here's 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. And we know that her cousin was given 1/4 of the dolls. So we look at just one of these, and 1/4 contains 2 dolls. So we have that her cousin was given 2 dolls. So we know that multiplication and multiplication and addition are basically the same thing, but multiplication is just repeated addition. So, another way to work out this problem is we have 8 equal 8 dolls, but 8 is the same thing as 8 once. And so we have 8 once times 1/4. And so, since there's 8 times 1/4, we're going to add 1/4 8 times. So 1/4 plus 1/4 8 times. And so we have our denominator 4, and so we know that one group can only go up to 4 to make one whole. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, which equals 4 over 4, which equals 1 whole. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 right here also. And so 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 is 4 over 4, which equals 1 whole. And 1 plus 1 equals 2. And so Gabby's cousin was given 2 dolls.